This episode is for Friday, January 16th, 2015. Welcome, Meteor fans. I'm your host, Josh Owens, along with my co-host,
Rye Walker.
Welcome, Rye.
So, you're rocking your vintage Meteor shirt today.
I am. You're rocking the new one, and I'm rocking the vintage. It's funny. All right. Looks like the streaming's getting started. It auto-kicked on my page there. So if you're watching remotely live, then be sure to know that we can take some questions at the end. That's always fun. Just use the Q&A app that they have there. And this week we are talking about, we don't have any sponsors, just if you want to help sponsor the show individually, be sure to check out, you got it there, bud?
I think I'm all right.
Oh, I just got done running. Be sure to check out patreon.com/Meteor Club. Lots of awesome stuff there. Prizes, like, not prizes, what do you call Kickstarter levels? I guess just
Rewards.
Rewards, there we go. Lots of reward options there. All right, so this week we're going to talk about Meteor Security Essentials, building an email digest and content aggregator with Telescope. What type of impact does io.js have on Meteor? Flow for Meteor. And Google Analytics and events for Meteor as well. All right. The first one was actually a talk by Ryan Glover, I believe. He gave it up at the Chicago meetup. Our good friend Dean helps run that up there. Big shout out to Dean and to Ryan. So if you follow the link in the show notes, it's talks.themeteorchef.com/meteor-securities-essentials. But anyway, he's got some slides up, and he walks you through kind of the ins and outs of security for your Meteor app, and he's got a whole bunch of stuff in here, and I think it's really awesome. I'm actually looking at his slides right now for the first time. There's some good stuff in here. Like, I mean, obviously, remove auto-publish and insecure. Those are big ones. Talks a little bit about allow and deny rules, which I'm still kind of up in the air about myself. And he's got quite a few slides about allow and deny, publication, pub and sub. So I think your publications are a big source of potential security leaks. You got to be careful about that. And then he talks a little bit about check and audit argument check, which can be a good thing. It's for checking the inputs on your Meteor methods. So it's always important. Anyway, I would highly recommend going through this, and hopefully he recorded this talk too. I think it'd be a real treat for people to be able to kind of watch him talk through it all as well. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to screw up Meteor security, unfortunately. The system doesn't warn you when you deploy with insecure and auto-publish. It'd be nice if you got an email that said, "Are you sure?" Or something like that, but that doesn't happen. So
yeah. Like Vinay, the guy that did the scanning of all the Meteor apps, when he did the scan in his initial post, he said like over half the sites he found still had auto-publish in them.
Yeah.
So, and even me, like I was working on a production grade app, and I wrote about it because I found insecure was still installed in the application. So
yeah,
kind of crazy.
Yep. Get rid of those things as soon as you think you have something that you want other people to use.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw a post the other day. I forget who posted it. It was like Reginald Braithwaite, maybe something like that, and it was all about like death to password committers, people that put like keys or passwords into the repo. And there's a tip in here to use settings.json, and that's absolutely like key to not committing your private keys or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, good stuff.
Yeah, that is cool. Next topic is email digest and content aggregation with Telescope. So this is another great post by Sasha. And we don't even say his last name anymore, do we? We know who we're talking about here.
But I've been practicing, though. It's Greif.
Greif? Oh, jeez. Well, then you can say it. But I think it's really cool. He's basically presenting Telescope as, it's basically a news aggregator and an email digest, content aggregator. And a lot of people don't realize that that's an important part of the feature set. Actually, early on, inspiration for building the thing in the first place was that email digest. So again, like if you are a Meteor fan and you're not getting the Creator IO email digest daily, you're missing out because it picks the top links from each day, puts them all into one email, and it's a cool feature. A lot of people are like hiring developers to build these sorts of systems, and you can just grab a Telescope and customize it to get that thing built for your company. So
yeah, and this is actually a two-parter, right? Like you get down to the end, and he talks about Crunch Hunt, which he put up, and he's got another post on Crunch Hunt. It's I don't know. My brain doesn't want to say that right.
Crunch Hunt.
Yeah. That N gets me. But he talks about like how he got that set up as well, and I thought that was really interesting because he talked about this kimono scraper that turns any website into an API, and that was interesting as well. So two really good reads there from Sasha, as always. He said that it was an easy 5-minute setup for him to get this going.
Yeah.
So I'll say maybe that's like half the time a normal person might take, right? But even at 10 minutes, it's worth the effort.
Yeah. I think the other thing that's really important to mention about this is the fact that you can subscribe to RSS for content to basically feed content into the system. So it's not only user-supplied content. You can subscribe to someone else's. If they're providing RSS, you can feed that straight in and let that be the basis for the inbound content articles that people comment on and whatnot. So
yeah, I've actually been kicking around an idea around Meteor and like auto-populating links, interesting links for the day, kind of like Sidebar.
Yeah.
But driving it off of an RSS source.
I was thinking, what if you used like Reddit Meteor as the source? But then you're posting back to it. Is it an indefinite loop? That'd be a question. I'd be curious to see.
I bet you could find a way.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably checks to make sure the link hasn't already been posted. I'm pretty sure it does that. So
yeah, I think you're right.
That'll stop it right there. But it's a way for you to scrape everything that wasn't, everything from Reddit. I don't even know if there's an RSS for that, but I imagine there is.
Yeah.
But it lets you get every link that wasn't posted on Creator back into Creator. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway. Little side project. 10 minutes is all it takes. Actually, probably even less than that. We already have Creator up, so you have to probably fill in that form.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Funny.
Cool.
All right. So you weren't here. You were, I think, out of town or something, giving your talk, and Chris Nelson filled in. And the big news that week was io.js coming out, just being announced. I mean, it wasn't out. But now it's out, and our good buddy Eric Elias, what's the name of his startup? It's like
Lagoon.
Lagoon, that's it.
Yep.
So he's working on an application, and he's been kicking around the idea of using Meteor. And so he posted, and he was curious. This is a discussion on Crater, and I'd love to see more people jump in. Like, please do jump in, and I'd love to hear other people's opinions. I gave mine, but I think that io.js can have a pretty big impact overall in the lifespan of Meteor, because I foresee it. Like right now, they've just turned on like ES6 support and a couple other smaller things, which you could always get ES6 support into Meteor using the build tool that they had, but I think that down the road, this could have a much bigger impact, right? Because MDG has a couple of choices. They could either decide to switch to io.js and move forward with that, in which case I think you're going to have some people that are unhappy, and you may see a community fork of Meteor at that point that stays on Node. Or they ignore io.js, which conversely could make people unhappy, and someone's going to fork and start building in io.js features into Meteor. Or they try to write some kind of compatibility layer, right, and try to support both, which I think could be a very painful thing in the long run. So definitely feels like a double-edged sword here. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's like forkception, inception. Like everything that depends on Node has to decide do they want to support them both, and if you make the wrong decision, I think the worst thing that could happen is that like half the people like IO and half the people like Node, because now you literally have a fragmented community at that point. I don't know too much about the backstory of why. I mean, I understand the basic concept that the IO guys think that Joyent's not doing a good job or moving too slow or just not making the right decisions. But I'd love to see it all come back together, obviously, because it's easier that way. Like back when Rails was kind of splintering between, or when the Ruby community was splintering between Rails and
Merb.
What was it? And Merb, that was kind of tough. But then they figured out a way to put it all back together, which I thought was really good. So,
but it was painful. Let's admit, Rails 3 was super painful.
Yeah. But it was better. It was progress. So, well, again, not everyone's going to agree with that, but it was what it was. So, so I think that that's funny. When I got a message, I'm on my phone because my stupid computer microphone wouldn't work, but I just got a text and it like vibrates my phone, like shaking it from its little hover spot here.
Nice.
Something to block it. There we go. All right. So yeah, I think that I hope it all goes away. That's my read.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you because it feels like a lot of the smarter people in the room kind of walked out and went to the io.js camp.
Right.
When you look at companies like StrongLoop, I don't know. Like I've heard some people say like this is just a marketing ploy and it'll all work out in the end. So I don't know. Hopefully it gets better for us down at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so let's go to the next topic, and this is like a situation where I'm like totally busted. You assigned me this Flow for Meteor topic. Did you watch the video? I mean, I know what it is. There's a new router that Aeronoda's working on, but have you tried it? Have you tried it out yet?
No, I totally assigned it to you, hoping you had.
I know that Greg from Differential looked at it, and he said he thinks it looks pretty cool, but man, how brave is that to try to make a router? Like, wow, why would you do that to yourself? But no, I'm sure he's got some things he wants to try to do, but that's a hard topic,
It is, but at the same time, like I think it's a really important topic because there's not very many people exploring that topic, right? And you've got Chris and like everybody and their brother relies on his Iron Router package, and that's a lot of support work. Like we should all pitch in and give him some money to hire an assistant to help out with Iron Router.
I know, so I bet you Chris is saying, go, like, beat Iron Router.
Yeah. So the one thing that I will say, someone did make some comments, which gave me a little context here, is that flow routes, they're not reactive, so it makes you rethink the structure of your app a little bit, but it's more predictable. Is what the comment said. So I don't know.
Yeah. So this again, it's like watching a video. It's a 12-minute video. Could have something to do with the future of Meteor in there. Yeah, you should check it out. Maybe we'll talk about it some more next week after we've had some time to digest it. But I think that video just came out a couple days ago, and I have not had a chance to jump into it. But it is news. It is something that happened. So 3
days ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I love Aeronoda, but the biggest problem I have with deciding to put an entire app on this thing would be, what does the long-term support of this thing look like? Because
Yep.
I remember writing a Leica chapter and getting done, like getting 50% of the way through it, and then emailing Aeronota, and he said, "Oh, that's deprecated.
Yeah.
I'm not going to update Leica anymore." And it's like, oh.
Yeah, is this an experiment or is this something for real?
Yes.
So only time will tell on that in a lot of ways. Like we just did a package. We have a package called Meteor Workers that we're deprecating. Like it's had like a 4-week life, because it was what we needed at the time. It's basically a very it deals with just doing background work, forking the Meteor process, and then keeping track of it all in MonQ in Mongo. It's kind of cool. It's nice. But we're finding that as our apps are scaling, we really need to jump to Redis and using Q. Now the question is, do we just make that thing more complex, or we actually decide like chop the app up in a slightly different pattern? So, like we're the only ones using it probably. Maybe there's a third person out there in the world using it, but it's like we're not planning on supporting it. It's a tough thing, and when we started, we thought maybe it could be a package that'll have a long life, but maybe it will, but it's we have a different architecture idea. We're going to kill that one and go with the new idea. So
yeah.
Actually, be wary of new packages.
You guys should take a look at the Node. Like, there's a Velocity has a project called like Long Running Child Process or something like that, and it's all about spawning the Velocity process basically in a way that stays in sync with the Meteor parent process.
Okay. Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Trying to see where that is. Long running child process, you think, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I'll find a link to it.
All right. Okay.
But that this does all bring up an interesting point. Like we've never officially said that we've deprecated accounts entry, but in essence, like nobody is really paying attention. I think it just hits my inbox and I delete. Like I may read a little bit of an issue, but I basically I don't have the time or the bandwidth to keep up with it, and I know you guys don't really either. And honestly, frankly, Splendido, however you say his name, Luca, he's done an amazing job with user accounts. He took the initial work that you and I did, Rye, and broke it out and decided to build, something that was UI framework agnostic in the core, and then you just bolt on the piece that you care about. So nice.
I agree. Like it was a great refactoring. I'd say accounts entry is unofficially deprecated right now, but we have like the to do to officially deprecate it,
right.
But no one even wants to do that. That's just like it's like thankless work to deprecate a package. So and plus it's kind of that weird thing where it's on the border of us and you. But I think that none of us are using it. I mean, I'm not using it with new projects. In fact, the project, so I think I don't know if it's in our boilerplate right now. The account entry is still in there. It may not even.
No, I think it is in the main branch, but not in the 1.0 branch.
Oh, okay. And the 1.0 branch will merge in soon, so.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's call it deprecated. It's official now. It's on the podcast, so it happens.
No more needs to be done.
Yes, and watch the flow video.
Yeah. All right. So before I do the last one, real quick, if you do have questions, feel free to queue those up because we'll be there in 4 or 5 minutes. All right, so the last post is about Google Analytics and events for Meteor. I actually wrote this. I thought it was interesting because now that we have this, I don't know, like I guess it's been around for a while, but the idea of like a single-page app, especially like, I've got multiple routes in this Meteor app for meteorjs.club, but I don't, the page in particular, is one long sales page, and I wasn't sure how far down people were reading, and so I love the, after I got it all implemented and let it run for a week or two, you can see down at the bottom, I actually have a funnel, and it shows like 417 people hit the top of the funnel, and like 5 people hit the bottom of the funnel, and so, and all the drop off happens right at the very end of the funnel. Like when they hit the bottom of the page, they just all go away. And so, that is a problem, right? Like that to me indicates that either there's a problem with pricing, like in particular this class is $8.99, or there's a problem with the sales copy or something. But I loved it because I was able to reactively just track where they were by scrolling, catching the scroll event and then doing some math. And every time you hit a 0.25% mark, then I just fired off an event to Google Analytics.
Now, would you say that Meteor helped make this easier for you, or could you have done this in any app just the same?
I would actually say you could do this in any app with the same kind of code I wrote here.
Yeah.
If anything else, it kind of sucks because you can't really catch window events very easily on in a template. I had to wrap this in a Meteor startup and then do $. I had to use jQuery and catch the scroll event and do the right thing. But I was able to just set a session variable, and so this code, which lives in one spot, fires on multiple different pages, so I can actually track the scrolling percentage on any page that I want.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I mean, obviously, figuring out your call to action is something that's not going to scare away everybody. Is always hard, especially once you ask for money, you're going to lose a lot, but. It's definitely asking the right questions. Points it's nice to know that they are getting down to that, which you didn't know that before for sure.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool. It's funny. It's like when I saw your post, I was like, wow, this is like close to the kind of post I'm doing next week around user cycle.
I thought you'd like this.
Yeah, I know. You knew that it was like you're preempting me. Why are you trying to tear down user cycle? No, I'm kidding. It's totally different use case. Like this is for pre-user, and ours is all post-user, after a sign up. So, so yeah, we might actually use this because we're getting ready to change our homepage to have a lot more content, and it would be kind of neat to know how far down they get as we try different ideas with that. So, you can obviously slice this for time too, right? So if you change the design, you can say, show me things only past this day. So
yeah, absolutely, I could.
So you can compare the funnel from design A to design B pretty easily.
Yeah, or you can use they've got a analytics A/B testing bit in there that you can use as well. So you could compare like different calls to action and how well those are converting and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's great.
Super important though, I mean, like when you're building an app or building a sales page or really building anything, like you should always put these analytics in here because I talk about. I gave a different use case in the beginning paragraph, I think. I had a client have me add what essentially was a blank slate modal pop-up. Like when you were the first one to come into something, like a modal would pop, and they wanted to see how many people were just dismissing that modal or actually interacting with it. And so, just firing two different events they use Segment, and I think most people should use Segment. I posted this on bootstrappers.io, I think it was, and someone said, I would totally use Segment and look into Mixpanel because they don't require you to hack up fake page views to get the funnel to work properly. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, even with just testing scrolling, you're saying that somehow you're going to magically get that, if they scrolled halfway down, or do you think they misunderstood some aspect of your post?
No, they totally understood it. The problem is, though, at the bottom, in order to get the funnel to work, you can't use events. You can't build a funnel off events. You have to. So I had to change those to be like a fake page view. So now when I look at that site, I'm getting like anyone that hits that page, if they scroll all the way to the bottom, it's looking like 4 or 5 page views to me.
I see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Gotcha.
So, but Mixpanel, you don't have to do that. You can just send the events and create your own funnel that way.
Yep.
Kind of a weird Google Analytics thing, but
yeah. Cool hack anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Did we get any questions from the live audience?
Did not. I'm disappointed, audience. I know there's.
You should have made up one. You should have made up a question.
So Aaron Noda asks.
Okay. Yes. Why didn't you watch our video?
Why didn't you watch my video, you jerks? No. No real questions this time. But we did. I got another Patreon patron We are getting closer. We're at $75 a month.
Wow.
So at $250, I'm going to start another podcast. Going to be more of a roundtable style podcast. So we're getting closer and closer. And the shout out this week, gosh, Patreon sucks for navigating this thing. Gosh, I really don't want to screw up this name either. It was a hard name. I'll probably screw it up anyway, but
yeah.
Name Patreon. Oh, hey, we got a question.
Oh, wow.
Can you see it?
Okay. Now, what is it?
It's from Ben. He's going to be in my class next week. But if you had a pink kitty, what would you name your pet dog, Rye?
Pink kitty.
What would you name your pet dog?
Pika.
Pika. That's your actual dog's name, isn't it?
Yeah. The pink kitten is irrelevant to that question. So
it is. It is. All right.
Thanks for the question, guys.
Love
all of the audience we've got.
So it's funny he brought that up because we totally regretted the other day. Like we thought about it after the fact. We bought a chubby wiener dog, right? And
another one?
No, the first one. But thinking back, like we totally should have named her Jabba the Hutt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Good talk, Josh. I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good, guys.
Thanks.